I'm Melissa Fuller with Shape of the City. Today we are going to learn about the Nebraska Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. Sharon here is going to help a little bit with some of the sign, but she's going to step off camera, and we're going to be talking to Kim and Cody to learn more about some of the services they have across the state. Thank you, Sharon.
You're welcome.
All right. Hi, Kim. Hi, Cody.
Hello.
Right.
Hello. Hi, Melissa.
All right, Kim, if you can explain what is the commission, Nebraska Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing?
Sure. So we are a state agency, and we provide services for those people who are deaf, deafblind, and hard of hearing, and also for people who are service providers who serve that population. Our mission is we promote and advocate for Nebraskans who are deaf, blind, and hard of hearing, and we make sure that they receive equal opportunities in a variety of aspects, like with socialization, with their legal rights, education, and also for employment. So those are just some examples. We also make sure that the group of deaf, blind, and hard of hearing have access to effective communication. And that's from people in government and private sectors as well.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of the services that you do provide?
Well, we have several different programs that are very popular in our agency. For example, we have something that's called the Nebraska Telecommunications Equipment Program. It allows people to be familiar when a phone is ringing and a signaler device, which I'll show those devices shortly. We also have a hearing aid bank program where there are refurbished hearing aids for people who cannot afford hearing aids based on income. So they can get a free hearing aid if they qualify. Those hearing aids are donated by people, and we're always looking for any hearing aids that would be donated by people who don't use them anymore, or if they're broken, or maybe they've upgraded to a new pair. We're willing to accept those hearing aids to the hearing aid bank program. We also have an equipment loan program. People can borrow equipment, anyone who's deaf, blind, or hard of hearing, or service providers who need to use the equipment temporarily. This equipment is good for someone if they're not sure whether or not they want to purchase something for themselves or get one through our free program, through the telephone program. Or if they want to just test equipment out before purchasing it. If their equipment is broken and they need to replace it, while they're waiting for their replacement, they can borrow equipment from us until they get their equipment back. It's a short-term loan program so that they don't have to buy something for just a short time. Maybe they're in the hospital and they need some kind of specialized phone. They can borrow that from us until the patient checks out of the hospital. And sometimes, if they're borrowing it quite often from us, we'll encourage them to purchase one. But you can borrow this equipment for 90 days. We have telephones, we have personal assisted listening devices, good for one-on-one or small group conversations. And the personal assisted listening device blocks out background noise, which is a wonderful program. The equipment program is. We also have a media loan center. We have a library with a variety of books, DVDs that people can borrow for up to 5 weeks. We have material that talks about deaf culture, learning sign language, how to become a good interpreter, or even how to become an interpreter. We also provide training and presentations for groups, either people who are deaf, or a hard of hearing group, or a deaf-blind group, or the service providers. We can train on a variety of products and programs. We can talk about what their legal rights are, maybe what their legal obligations are in providing services to this population. We talk about different federal and state laws and rules. and we encourage them to become more empowered. One of our services is we help service providers who are looking for interpreters. We have an interpreter referral program. If a place is looking for an interpreter, they can contact us. We have a database of licensed interpreters, which is required in the state of Nebraska. An interpreter must be licensed in order to work for compensation in the state of Nebraska. Our advocacy services, we do a lot, especially our advocacy specialists, our education advocate, our interpreter program coordinator. We have a mental health behavioral coordinator. We do a lot of advocacy on specific needs. So if you want to file a complaint, we can also help you with that. If you're not getting access to communication or access to receiving technology that you need, any auxiliary aids is what we call them, we can help with a lot of those types of things too.
Your work is amazing.
Well, thank you. Yes, I enjoy all of the different duties that we do have. Right, Cody? Yeah.
So Cody, tell us a little bit about your behavioral health services.
Yeah, sure. So we have a behavioral health referral program. Sometimes a person who's deaf or hard of hearing or is faced with some frustrations in maybe a counselor that doesn't understand their culture or understand about a person being deaf or isolated. We have a lot of referrals on our website. We have experienced counselors that are knowledgeable about deaf culture or sign language, and that enables the person to get better services through counseling and sign language. We also do a lot of peer advocacy. Sometimes if it's not too much of a serious issue, we have experienced a lot of these issues ourselves, so we provide peer support for our colleagues as well.
So Cody, what advice would you have for a viewer who may be new to dealing with loss of hearing and may be a little bit overwhelmed? What should they do?
Well, you know, it depends on the person's age. We are an information and referral agency. If we have a parent that has a deaf or a baby with hearing loss, we can send them to maybe parents who also are experiencing that. As Kim had mentioned, the education advocate, they help with schools and IEPs and things like that. We just have a variety of wonderful resources based on what it is you need, and we adapt to our referral and our resources to that. Kim says, well, I'd like to add too, our former director and also a current board member said, quote, "Hearing loss is not a loss of dignity." So we have a lot of technology that's available to us, and we can function normally just like anyone else who can hear. Even at work, people are still able to do their duties. They just need to know what technology is available to make it work for them. And this is Cody's. Today with technology, I mean, people are we're in 2019 and technology is growing every day, and we provide a lot of information that people don't even know of. You know, Cody, we wouldn't even be here if it weren't for technology. And then we also want to thank our wonderful interpreter's voice for us today. So this is our demo room. It's good for people who are hard of hearing, deaf, deafblind, who have never experienced using specialized telephone communication equipment. Some people already know what they need, but they can fill out an application through our Nebraska Specialized Telecommunication Equipment Program, NSTEP for short. And what we do, our advocacy specialists work with people one-on-one, and they can test out phones to see what is most effective for them before they choose it. Once they pick one in the application and the program, you can only apply and get a free telephone and a signaler every 5 years, once every 5 years. So it's important to choose the right one. We don't do any replacement, and we're not responsible for any breakage. If the equipment needs to be repaired and it's under warranty, the company covers that. So these are some of the phones. For example, we have amplified phones. Those help for the person to hear the caller's voice. They can control the volume. Like for this model, for example, there's a volume control on the side, and then there's also a tone control. They can adjust the pitch of the caller's voice. Sometimes if someone has a low frequency hearing loss, they will have a hard time understanding a male voice. So they can adjust the pitch so that they're able to understand the voice clearer, and the clarity of speech is there for them. Sometimes an amplified phone doesn't work. They can hear a voice, but they're not understanding the words that are being spoken. So we recommend then a caption phone where they can read words on a screen, similar to what we have here. Whatever the caller says, it goes through a caption telephone service. There's a captionist that listens to the voice, and then they re-voice them through a software recognition program. And then those words show up on a screen. And it also amplifies the voice. So the user of the caption telephone, the person who cannot maybe understand words, they talk directly to the caller. So it's really nice. It's a nice option. Something else we have, this is an amplified cordless phone, but it connects to a smartphone. Sometimes a smartphone isn't loud enough, and so this device will amplify the smartphone. And smartphones are also recognized through the specialized program, through specific vendors, not all wireless service providers, just 4. Sometimes if you have a hard time hearing the phone ringing, you're missing calls, you can also receive a signaler that will let you know when the phone's ringing. This is one example. This is a doorbell ringer that comes with the signaler in a kit. So just to give you an idea what that would look like. It can be visual with a light. It can also be tactile with a vibrating device that you can put under your bed between your mattress and your box springs, and then it will shake the bed to alert you. Someone who's deaf-blind can also wear it on their body to let them know when a phone is ringing or when someone's at the door. There was no sound. We had it set to just a light flashing, but it also has an audible noise that is very loud to signal someone that someone's at the door or someone's at the phone. So those are all the equipment things that we provide through our Nebraska Specialized Telecommunications Equipment Program.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it is a wonderful program.
So what is the best way for our viewers to learn more about your organization or to contact you guys?
And this Cody, I know we've shared a lot of information today. If you're interested in NSTEP or any of the services that we provide, you can go to our website, ncdhh.nebraska.gov, or you can call us toll free at 800-545-6244. And we'd be happy to help you.
Well, you guys do amazing work. Do you have any final thoughts?
We look forward to hearing from you. We hope that you're not afraid to reach out and contact us. Anyone you know that is dealing with hearing loss, or even yourself, or maybe you're a service provider for this population, or you have a family member or a good friend, send them our way. We will be your resource to go to, and you will not regret it. Statewide, we offer services statewide.
It's everybody's responsibility to be fire safe. Improper cigarette disposal is one of the leading causes of fires in homes.
As someone who's been a victim of a cigarette-related fire, I ask you to put out your cigarette safely.
One flick can ruin many lives.
Please, put out your cigarette safely.
Learn how to stop the fire before it starts. Visit tobaccofreelancastercounty.org for information about safe cigarette disposal.
Hello, I'm Melissa Fuller with Shape of the City. Today we are going to learn about the food fort here in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I am here with Michaela Akridge. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So Michaela, tell us about the food fort. How did it get started? What was the inspiration behind this amazing project?
Yeah, so Food Fort started just about 2.5 years ago. My husband and I are the founders of the organization. We had an opportunity to see just a great need in our community, and it was so much more than just a healthy meal or food being brought to youth in our community. It was the relationship aspect, the adults present aspect, and so we just felt called to start an organization that would serve them.
Talk about this. What is it that you guys do? Sort of give people a picture.
Yeah, so a lot of people identify us by the Food Fort bus. It's kind of like a driving billboard with bright colors. And they'll also kind of associate us with being a mobile food distribution because we do distribute food. But that is not what our mission is exactly. We feel that if there's a physical need of hunger present, then we won't have an opportunity to invest more in the children, their non-physical needs. And so we go into our target neighborhoods around the community, provide a meal for them, along with them, with a goal of building relationships and providing for some deeper needs that they have.
Talk about some of the areas that you are serving. What are the populations that tend to come to the food fort?
Yeah, so we currently are in 3 different neighborhoods around the Lincoln community. The Clinton neighborhood on Mondays, West Lincoln neighborhood on Tuesdays, and the Saratoga neighborhood on Wednesdays. And so we're there 1 night a week in each neighborhood. There's really no specifications that we require of the children. Very young, probably as young as 2 years old, attends with other siblings, all the way up through 18 through high school. And so we have a wide variety of kids and cultures that attend. Mondays being our largest site, just last night we served 82 children. And Tuesdays is our newest location that we just launched into in the fall. Of West Lincoln. And so we really have an opportunity into lots of different types of families, lots of different types of children when it comes to culture and background, and it really is a unique opportunity that we have when we're bringing it to them right where they already are.
Talk about some of the meals you might be serving. Is there an education part of that?
Yeah, absolutely. We are very focused on incorporating health and being health conscious into the meals that we serve to the children. Our typical meal consists of an entree, a fruit, a vegetable, a dessert, and a drink. We're never going to have soda. We're never going to have, those sugar-packed things that maybe some of them are familiar with. And so we are very conscious of helping them understand what a home-cooked meal would consist of. And one thing that we do to help with that is through our produce program. So we're partnered with Produce from the Hart, another local nonprofit that provides us with some fresh produce to distribute, kind of like a mini farmer's market at each of our sites from the spring to the fall. And so we are intentional about incorporating some of that produce into the meal that we're serving that night at each of our locations, and also helping to try and educate the children of maybe this is a fresh produce that you're not familiar with. This is how you could cook it. This is how you could eat it in a variety of different ways. So hopefully they will then take it then in turn to home and just help with overall educating maybe their families that are not used to eating a lot of the things that maybe we're providing.
Why is something like this so important, even in Lincoln?
Yeah, I mentioned a bit ago that people sometimes associate us with a mobile food distribution. Lincoln does an incredible job at offering resources to distribute food. We have the food bank, we have the backpack program and food net locations, and those are all really incredible resources. But we feel that we are serving an unserved population of children simply because a lot of the families or children that we interact with don't necessarily have the adults in their life that are signing them up for that program, that are looking where is the next distribution site so that our family can go there. We come to them where they already are, and so they can have access to tutoring. They can have access to a free hot meal. meal. They can have access to spring to fall free produce that we're bringing to them that they can bring into their homes. So really our goal is to not be kind of providing a service or providing a handout for them, but really to come there and be a part of that community, build relationships with them, and so that they know that they will always have the Food Fort volunteers or those people that have built a relationship with them that they can come to for a variety of things.
So for anyone who may be watching, where can they go for more information or maybe even finding a way to help you guys out or being part of the solution?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is always things that can be done. We are completely run by volunteers and we're completely funded by volunteers in our community. And so if you feel that you're being called to be in the front lines and build relationships with some of these kids that are in our community, you can do that by contacting us. And all of those resources and contact information is on our website.
Well, I always say it takes a community to raise a child, and it sounds like you are a big part of that community.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm a pedestrian.
I'm a driver.
I'm a cyclist.
And I share the road.
Hello, I am Melissa Fuller with Shape of the City. I am with Sarah Smith. She is with the Nebraska Department of Education, and we're going to be talking a little bit about Farm to School, Harvest of the Month. But let's start with Farm to School. Can you tell us a little bit about Farm to School and as it relates to the Lincoln community especially?
Absolutely. So Farm to School is really an effort to incorporate local foods into schools. And there's a couple of ways that we look at that, whether it's bringing local foods and purchasing or donations into the cafeteria. So for snack program, breakfast program, or the school lunch program. And so kids are eating local foods. Or school gardens and greenhouses and ag curriculum. And then, the third way is really experiential education. So taking kids out to the farms, to farmers markets, and getting their hands actively involved in that food and in the process of growing it. So here in Lincoln and across the state, the Department of Education offers a couple of programs. One is Nebraska Thursdays, and so Lincoln Public Schools is active in that program, and that's where we're looking at getting local foods, as many local foods, as many components of the tray local as possible on the first Thursday of each month. And so there's a campaign to push out and increase the amount of purchases that are happening locally within the schools.
That's amazing. And what should talk about a little bit of the grower's role in Farm to School?
Right. So, Lincoln is has a wealth of producers in our region, and so there's several avenues to reach local foods. Somebody has to make that initial connection, though, and so I'm available to work with growers or schools to help them know what questions to ask of each other, so that they can learn a little bit about what each other's requirements would be, what their needs are in order to make this type of relationship work. And so, I always encourage growers to not be afraid to connect with the schools and provide a list of what products might be available in that season, and maybe some price points, and to open that door to share what their willingness could be to work with the school.
Tell us a little bit about the Harvest of the Month program, and again, some of the schools that might be involved with that right now.
Great, yeah, so Harvest of the Month is fairly new. This is our first year rolling it out with pilot schools. So we have 6 pilot schools across the state. 2 are located here in Lincoln, and they're parochial schools, St. Michael's and Christ schools. And so what that program, the goal of that program is to expose children to new to them vegetables that are available here in Nebraska. So it's funded from a specialty crop block grant, and the intention of that is to increase the awareness, the availability of these types of products in our state. So it's a marketing opportunity and a profitable opportunity for growers in the state. So what we did is we determined 9 interesting and potential vegetables and fruits that can be grown in our state, across the entire state. and provided some resources and recipes and promotional materials and hands-on activities that can be done with these 9 different products. And so 1 per month is being highlighted, and these pilot schools are doing taste tests and samples and a lot of education and just communicating about what these foods are and bringing interest and just helping the children to expand palates by trying new things. So we're getting some surveys back on the products, and we'll see if the kids become more inclined to try these things as the program continues.
So this may be obvious, but for some of our viewers, explain what is the importance of a program like this and getting, more experiences of vegetables and fruits to our kids?
Yeah, well, there's many different, it's trifold, I guess you could say, that we're looking at how it affects the cafeteria, the community, and the classroom. So the students, when they have an opportunity to learn at a young age, they carry it through with them into adulthood. And so it's kind of exponential in that way. And the students gain an interest in something like sweet potatoes, say, and when they see this as a whole vegetable and then they taste it as a whipped sweet potato or a sweet potato fry or something like that that's coming at them as a sampling in the cafeteria, they take it home and request these things from their parents when they're in the grocery store. And so expanding that, there's health opportunities for that, and it increases the amount of fresh fruits and vegetables that they're eating. And there's also a big impact for growers and farms. Across the board, there's a 5% increase in profits when producers are engaging in farm-to-school efforts. And so there's a large margin of growth in profitability with putting dollars into local products.
That's wonderful. So for viewers that may be wanting to learn more about about the program, or may want more information about how to become part of that, where should they go? What should they do?
They should go to the Nebraska Department of Education Nutrition Services website. We have a farm to school page there with several resources. We have partners. We're continuing to add partners as well so that the resources are even broader. And we have some information about Harvest of the Month. It opens up statewide to schools this summer. So all the materials will be available for free download. We'll be shipping kits to schools, posters and binders with recipes and promotional materials and that sort of thing to schools that indicate interest on our website there.
Perfect.
I'm at St. Michael's Catholic School talking with Linda. She's the kitchen manager here, and we are talking about the Harvest of the Month program today. Hi, Linda.
Hi, Pamela.
Can you tell us a little bit about why you've implemented the Harvest of the Month program?
It's a great program to buy local and try to get a different item every month from a local farmer, and it's great for the kids to try samples of different foods that possibly they wouldn't try.
Can you tell us how you're implementing the program? So what you're doing physically here at your school to get this program going?
We are hanging posters. We do have Harvest of the Month on our menu. We try a new recipe usually. I buy the items local.
What's the feedback been like from your students and then the teachers?
They love it. This month, Harvest of the Month is bean medley. And it has 5 different beans within the mixture, and the kids are really excited about trying it. It gives them a chance to try new things, and sometimes if a friend tries it, they'll try it. And a lot of items they probably wouldn't try at home, they've tried here just because it's been available.
Can you tell us why you think a program like this is healthy and beneficial to the kids you're serving?
It encourages new healthy habits, encourages good eating, trying different fruits and vegetables. And the promotional material is great. They get a sticker if they try it, and they love that. Sure, you're welcome.
Shape of the City is dedicated to keeping Lincoln informed of health and wellness programs and events. Visit our calendar at lincoln.ne.gov, keyword Wellness Calendar. If you'd like to see your program or event covered, email us at LNKTV Health at lincoln.ne.gov.